Now, a lot of times people like, when they think about Chicago, they think of all the things that, you hear about on surface levels, news and all that. But I know Chicago very well. And there's a lot of good selling points about Chicago. If you had to pitch it to somebody and be like, yo, this is what's dope about Chicago, what would you say?
I mean, the shopping center like on Michigan, just all that whole strip of stores to go to, just being downtown, how beautiful the city is. It's a lot of entrepreneurs in the city. As far as people trying to get their businesses off the ground and the people with a lot of good ideas to invest in.
Yeah. A lot of hustlers, a lot of hustlers. Now, if you was to take something from Chicago with you to LA that you're missing right now, what would that thing be?
Um, I don't know. I guess it'd be like more of my family and friends to be out here. I'm kind of out here by myself, so sometimes I could feel homesick in that sense. But other than that, they just put a Harold's in Hollywood, so it ain't really too much that I'm missing.
Oh, work, but is it the same though? Because they put a Harold's in Atlanta, and some people from Chicago be like, it's not the same as the joint we used to.
It's decent. It's pretty good. You feel me? You gotta catch them on a good day, or really tell them how to put it together.
Got you. Sometimes that food, man, be like, all you just need is like the right food place, and then give you all the sensibilities that you miss from being at home.
For sure.
Word. Now, your fandom is pretty much at a fever pitch right now. Like everything you drop, everybody gravitates towards it, man. When you think about where you are now in your career, based, where you were like maybe 4 years ago, what are some of the biggest differences that you notice?
Shit. 4 years ago, I probably was touching the microphone for the first time, trying to really like experiment with it. I should say. And then shit, now I just really feel like I found my lane and I'm perfecting my craft, really getting better at making music. You feel me? Like it's becoming more easier for me to do.
Got you. Now, if you could take us back to like, the first time you was getting into the studio working on stuff, what was the vibe? Like, were you nervous, with it being your first time going into the studio, or you kind of had it all together? You knew what you supposed to be doing.
Excuse me. My first time at the in the booth, I was nervous, yeah, but like it was like the best experience ever in my life. Like the funnest thing I ever feel me did early on, and that made me be like, all right, I want to keep doing this.
Now, that first song, did it ever make it out? Like, is this something that we could stream on iTunes, or was it just something that you was just recording just to get going?
Now I published it on YouTube right after I recorded that shit. Like I had them put it on my little from my little neighborhood. It was like a little YouTube page for everybody who made music. So I had them publish it on there and shit. I just kept going from there. I was like 17 at the time.
Wow, man, time flies too. That seemed like it was just yesterday, right?
For sure.
Word. Now everybody has different motivators, to get into music. Anybody who follows your path, knows that, it was the things that was happening around you, the people that you were losing that really desire, made you desire to like really like, move that pen and get into the booth. Like, if you could think back, out of everybody who you wish were here to see everything that you have going on for yourself, who would that be?
Definitely the first thing that come to mind is my grandma, because she was always real prideful about what I was doing. Shit, since a little kid, like I could just color something on in a coloring book as a little kid. She throwing it on the refrigerator or whatever it was that I was just doing. If I went to a military school, she was telling all her friends about it. If she first hearing about me music, she was telling all her friends about it. So I know this was be something she would enjoy seeing.
Did she get a chance to see any of it?
She was seeing me like when I was first starting in my career. Like when I was first putting out music, and my pops, he wasn't really with it because I was, you feel me, into the street thing. But my grandma like, no, you gotta support him.
Wow. That's crazy because usually the grandmothers be the ones who don't understand what's going on at street level, but for her to be so supportive, that's dope. And then so like, and also too the bizarro worldness of it all. Like your mom's your manager, right? And your pops was like, "Yo, I don't want you," but now he's with it, right?
Yeah, my pops, and my mom and my mother was like kind of standoffish to me wanting to be a rapper at first, because not too many people make it as rapping. But when they saw that I really had talent, that's when they was behind it 110%.
So at what point did it hit them that, hey, Polo G, my son, is actually better than a lot of these other people who are out here trying to do the same thing?
My pops had gravitated towards it way earlier than my mom did, than my mother did. He was really on it early on. Like at first he had the little stint where he wasn't rocking with it, then he was on board with it. Then it was like it like took for me to have like some real success with my music for my mother to come on to board. Like at first she had just like be privy to me shooting a video and be like, oh, that's nice, that's cool. But when I really start having views behind it and people sending me money for features, she like, oh yeah, you gotta stay on top of it.
Now, for your parents to be so involved now in the process, you know, I mean, granted, you're a grown boy now. I mean, you're 21. You're grown. You're a man. You can vote. You can smoke cigarettes. Do whatever the hell you want, right? So the first time they heard you cursing on records, how did your parents react? You know, when they saw that stuff.
Shit, they know I cuss and do all this other stuff. It was just because I was 17 at the time, so I ain't no little kid. Mm-hmm. Like they had a decent understanding of what I was into. It was just that they just never wanted to paint me into that type of light. Like they always wanted me to be something else, or me to be better than just a street dude. Because at that point in time when I first started rapping, I'm just a street dude trying to rap.
Right. So what was the other like field or line of work that they wanted you to do outside of this, other than this?
I know my OG, she always wanted me to be like a attorney or something, because I was always well spoken. So she always thought that that'd be the best job for me.
Yo, and the way you put your words together on wax, man, and I think that's what really makes the fans gravitate you so tough, because it's easy to pick apart what you're saying, or at least it's easy to connect to what you're saying because of how you say it. Like D&D, don't stop at red lights, we stuck in gold mode, they're killing kids, no wonder why summer's so cold. You know, you feel that, you know what I mean? Stories stay the same, you know, we died for nothing, I dressed up for so many funerals, yo, I'm tired of coming. We feel that, you know, especially, you know, like 2020 has been cruel as hell. We're not even, 6 months into it. Funeral after funeral, death after death. And I know you're speaking on it from a different sense in Chicago, but, you know, it comes off your pen real easy.
Yeah, it's just really me reflecting on my own experience, since knowing what's going on in the real world. I feel like that a lot of times, a lot of people that jump into music, they in it for another like outlook on life, like the fun side, or the part that they want to be or the side of life they want to be a part of, like the flexing and the stunning. But I try to keep it as real as I can.
Got you. Now, you seem like a person who is like, wise beyond their years. Probably not necessarily like, I see you with a couple things on IG, but I don't see you going crazy. Like, what is the most outlandish thing that you've copped since you've been in the business?
I can't really pinpoint it. I think I didn't ever think that I spend like 100,000 on one piece of jewelry, but I did. I bought a like Patek Philippe, and then another set of like chains and everything. But that's about the only thing, because I never saw myself as a person that spend so much on jewelry.
Now, how does it feel to finally be in a position where you actually can do those sort of things and not necessarily have to worry about, how much it costs?
I mean, it feel great. I just feel like the money, it just take away like the stress of trying to figure out what you can do, or the stress of having to go without certain things. Like you got so much breathing room. I feel like that's the only thing it really do. Whatever mental state you was in before you had money, though, that'll still pretty much be the same. That's something you got to work on personally.
Yeah. Now, you've been putting a lot of work in the studio. The project comes out this coming Friday. It's called Go. Everybody needs to pick it up. And if you're hearing this on Friday, go get it, download it, stream it right now. What records, mean the most to you personally on the project? Because it seems like there's a lot of heart in everything you do, and nothing's a throwaway. Like if you had to stand on a couple records personally, which ones are those for you?
I got so much hard music on there. I say the Martin and Gina song. It's like a relationship type vibe. I got a song called I Know, really just talking about my personal life and what I went through. Um, I got the Flex song with Juice Wrld. That mean a lot to me because that was like my homie. I got a
Yeah.
lot of songs on that that just like you will really vibe out with.
No doubt. Now, for people who will never have the privilege or the opportunity to meet Juice World, man, what was he like, man? Like, just when the cameras ain't around, y'all just vibing, just two dudes, in the culture, just doing your thing. What was he like?
Like the coolest, realest dude you will ever meet. Like he always like caring about your well being or you good, you straight, you want to do this, let's go in the back and get on the four wheelers and the bikes and everything. Just always like really like a big kid if you really think about it. Like a real chill person and he go out his way for a lot of people because I used to look at it like, man, this the biggest artist in the world. He ain't gotta, you feel me, rock with me. He ain't have to reach out to me. And he started that bond in that relationship, so I always appreciate him for it.
It be those little things, man. Especially like in this business, sometimes it's hard for people to reach back because people are trying to maintain their level of celebrity and whatnot. And I know as your star continues to rise, there's probably people that want you to pull them up along with you too. Have you had a hard time, navigating through all that? Because everybody wants to go for the ride.
I ain't have a hard time. I be feeling people out. Like I know who I can rock with for real and who not to. Like it's just an instinct type thing. Like when I know it's the right time to pull for a certain person or just rock with a certain person because I see what they own, then it just go from there.
Got you. Like far as your day ones, most of them still in a circle, or because of everything that's going on, it's a lot of new faces.
You have to start figuring out like who really for you, and you see the patterns of that like early on. It's just up to you on whether or not you want to pay attention to it, because you'll see the signs on whether or not you need to cut a person off. But definitely, as I grew and became, you feel me, the bigger artist, I had to cut off a lot of people to the point where it's just like really just me and my family.
Yeah, it be like that sometimes, especially too, because a lot of times when you like look at how artists get in trouble, sometimes it don't even be the artists. It be like their homies around them that kind of bring the energy to them. And not everybody's always equipped to, to take the ride. Like sometimes, like, yo, you got to stay where we came from because, like, yo, you about to ruin everything that I got going on. Have you ever been in a situation where someone almost put you out of your way because you were trying to look out?
Now that's what the thing is. Like me filling people out. Like I had to cut people off before it ever got to that point. Like I could foresee that. So I'm like,
Mm.
oh no, you always want to be a person to pop off or do this, and you feel me? Like in the line of business that I'm in, like real street dudes or not to necessarily say that, but you can't necessarily be a gangster. And it's like you got to pick one or the other. You can't still be moving like you a thug and a gangster. And we trying to make money and really do conduct business. Like them type of people can't really progress or get past the hump in this type of lifestyle. Trying to live this type of lifestyle.
Yo, moving like that, man, you're going to be making money for a long time, man. Once again, the album is out this coming Friday. It's called The GOAT. So many records on there. Tell me a little bit about Beautiful Pain. Like the name alone make you want to hit play on it just to see what you're talking about.
Beautiful Pain is another like relationship type record. Like I was just going through my own relationship problems and just understanding where I probably went wrong at. So I was just confessing, like you feel me, my wrongdoings and trying to make things right with a song, I guess.
Yo, that's the best way to get it out, man, because the emotions are going to be real. Have you ever tried to reach out to, like, let's just say somebody who maybe, like, you was checking for in high school, or somebody around the way who you just never had an opportunity to holler at, but now that maybe, and maybe you've always had this level of confidence, but now because you are where you are, you maybe gave it another shot?
I feel like like I blew up so hard that like I passed up the females that I wanted to talk to back then. So I feel like that's hustling backwards or going backwards if I end up trying to reach for them.
Wow. That is one way to look at it. Like some people I've talked to, like, because they got to where they are, it made it easier for them to scoot back and just completely like dirty, rotten scoundrel the situation and do your thing. But so now like, do you see yourself more with somebody who's in the business or just a bad chick who just is a bad chick?
No, I'm currently still with my son's mother. So
That's even a better reason to not look at the past. Yeah, you mess around, turn to salt, and walk into a fight that you don't want to walk into. Now, how is that navigating, like being hot and on fire and being in a relationship? Like, does she give you enough space to be Polo G?
yeah, definitely. It's just communication basis, like making sure we see eye to eye and those certain things. And I make sure I keep my focus on my end, like not paying attention into too much of what's going on or who got what and who looking like this. Like I'm just focused on what I got going on.
Got you. You don't ever get up in them jams with like, yo, who's this in your DMs? Like, why is this happening? Like she understands all that, right? It's a tricky thing to navigate sometimes because, like, you can't necessarily control what people choose to send you. Your music make people feel a certain way. It is what it is, right? So outside of music, man, you do have a whole bunch of different interests. I understand you play video games. You're really nice on 2K. You mess with the wrestling a little bit as a watcher, right? You used to be like a big WWE fan, right?
Yeah, I ain't been playing no WWE games though. Like I wanted to get like all the old school games that came out, like all the old wrestling games, Def Jam, stuff like that for like my younger self.
Yo, Def Jam Fight for New York was one of my favorite video games of all time. I don't understand how they ruined it. When it came out with Icon and they tried to get too fancy with the graphics, it ruined everything. But like the original PlayStation 2 joint was hard body. But on the wrestling tip, if you had to pick a rap tag team partner, who would be your rap tag team partner in wrestling?
My rap tag team partner in wrestling. Ooh, that's a hard one. I feel like I should pick somebody that's big though.
Sometimes big don't necessarily. Sometimes you're just big because you're big.
I don't know, like I'll probably pick NBA YoungBoy or somebody because he always ready to go.
You should pick NBA YoungBoy and maybe have Yaya as your manager just in case it pops off because she's quick with the little with the blade work. She's jumping out. She's jumping out on him. There it is, man. Right now you rocking with the Morning Hustle, and if people ain't following you, where can they go?
You can follow me on Instagram at polo.capilot, Twitter polo_capilot.
There it is, my G. I appreciate you, Polo.
Appreciate you for having me.
We are the Morning Hustle.